Hey art fam, it's Luis Martin, the art engineer, and today I thought I'd try something different. I've gotten many requests about my studio and how I have it set up, so I thought today would be a perfect time for a studio tour slash visit. And of course I wouldn't be able to do this without another hand, or another pair of hands. Behind the camera we have the one and only
Chunky Baker here.
Chunky Baker, thank you for letting me borrow you. So remember to like, subscribe, say a prayer, and share this with all of your art fam in your community. There's power in what we do. All right, so without further ado, this is kind of like my version of Cribs. So I live in Brooklyn. I live in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, here in New York City. And it's crazy, it's wild. Yeah, everything you've heard about New York is true, but not true, it's a myth. There are little bubbles of places that you can find New York. Otherwise, it's very commercial and gentrified. Hashtag gentrified. But here, there's tons of soul. So let me show you a little bit about my world. So this is where I do a lot of work. Most of what I do happens here actually, because believe it or not, when you're an artist, a lot of it is not so glamorous, but it's just as exciting, honestly. There's a lot of, this like a Muppet writing, but I make sure to keep my space beautiful and inspiring. So this is a very important part of my desk. I have tons of things that inspire me and keep me going throughout the day. I will say I have major ADD, so I have to be stimulated all the time. I'm surrounded by books. I have not read and probably won't read all of them, but through osmosis, they give me stuff, right? So this is a really beautiful one that actually Elvis just ordered, and I'm in love with it. It's all about Mexican motifs. Pre-Columbian, isn't that beautiful? This is an amazing book on tarot by Alejandro Jodorowsky. Say that 3 times. He's actually a film director and wrote this book on the Marseille deck. Beautiful. I read it and then I go crazy because it's just so insightful. So if you're into tarot or anything about mysticism, this is a great book. This is actually an amazing book by one of our art fams, Virgil Suarez, that I just got, and I cannot wait to sink my teeth into this. Look at this, it's like this beautiful art gem. Oh, okay, so this is getting my spring reading. This is my little still life that I have. Yes, I am a narcissist. I keep a picture of myself for fun, to remind myself that I have to show up for myself. Crystals, we collect tons of crystals. This is a fun little witch's boot that reminds me of my mother. My mother's a witch, in all the good sense of the word. So that's there. I am Mexican, obviously, so that's an Aztec image. And I actually have a deck of tarot. So I don't read tarot for people, but a good thing about tarot is that you can just study it and you can focus on it. Like, for instance, if I want to have a day full of joy and abundance, I can pull this card out, the 10 of Cups. Cups are emotion, and I mean, you don't even have to know about the tarot, right? You can just look at this and look, they're all happy and celebrating. And 10 signifies the end of a cycle, the end of a journey. They've made it to their goal, they're celebrating. So this is beautiful. I also keep a gratitude book. It's good to have. Every night I write 3 things that I'm grateful for that I did during the day. Cologne, you guys, it's about the senses, right? So I'm constantly spraying myself, spraying my spaces to smell good. This smells like Palo Santo. It's delicious. It's called Bois, which means wood in French, even though this is a Mexican perfume. Yeah, and I have a postcard of Morgan, who was some crazy robber baron, I think. But, you gotta mix it up and have people like him and Frida and the Virgin Mary. So this is my desk, and most of it happens on my computer. Everything is really clean. Normally there's like things flying in the air, confetti, books are like half open and stacked as high as I am. One thing that I do that I am going to invite you to do is I create wonder walls everywhere I go. I'll show you what that is. And it starts everywhere. So this is part of my wonder wall. It is a picture of James Baldwin that I've drawn on. And as you see, it's there to remind me of the power of this person that came before me, right? He was this gay writer, activist, and because of his work, I can do what I do. I can exist without fear. And I've drawn these like laser eyes on him to remind me that I have to be laser focused too. So that's what this is all about. Keys, right? Keys, and notes to myself. Like, I want to do something. Okay, I need the power of Morgan to be businessy. I need the power of Baldwin to be brave, right? So this is a beautiful practice, and I'll show you how I do it. So this is my work table. This is where I do the lives. My real wood table is in my living room right now. We're being adults and we're eating on an actual wooden table. This is a foldable table, so when I do my videos, it's all like and really shaky, but I refuse to give my adult table for my dinner. So this is where it happens. Before I show you my wonder wall, I want to show you one of my favorite things. Records. These are some of my recent acquisitions. So here in New York, it's kind of hard to find records that are affordable. So the fun thing is finding these and going to bins, right? And buying them for $1. This one was $15, but it was worth it. So Emmanuel was like this series of like erotic porno-y videos that had the best music. And I used to watch it as a kid on like cable. But the music was so good, I was like, I don't care. So I just got this, really exciting. This was actually $20, but it's worth like a lot more, not that it matters. This is like beautiful house music with India, who is a Puerto Rican salsa singer, jazz singer. Amazing. Go to Spotify now, listen to this. The Graduate, you guys. This is an amazing soundtrack. Love Anne Bancroft. This is one of my favorite movies. Go check it out. The soundtrack is like stellar. My aunt just sent me this, and this is one of our favorite albums when I was growing up. My grandmother was actually their housekeeper for a short time. And my grandma would come with these stories about like them sleeping with each other and having orgies while she's like scrubbing the kitchen or whatever. So this is infamous in our house growing up. It was very fun. And this is actually really interesting, you guys. Maybe you can help me. Someone sent me this, a beautiful LP of Samara Joy, who I wasn't familiar with, and there's no letter. There is no return address other than it's from Austria, and I don't know, I want to be able to say thank you. So if you have any information about who sent me this, let me know, and we'll give them a proper gratitude card. Okay, this is not an LP, but this is just as exciting and inspirational and informative to what I do. This is Madonna's sex book. Oh my God, you guys, this was ridiculous. But if you have a chance, go find it, look at it. It's just such an amazing like work of art. The material, the mylar cover, the metal cover, the paper inside, the font, amazing. This happens to be in French, but it's really fun. So that's just a little bit of what moves me, right? Literature and music. All right, so the wonder wall. What the hell is a wonder wall? It's my grandma's gift. When I was a kid, my grandmother, and a few of you know this story, my grandmother used to work at a very posh convalescent home, and she used to come home with these Vogue magazines from France, from Italy, and she would tear them up and put them on the wall. Like, she would say, look at this beautiful dress. This is what I want to look like. She'd put it up on the wall. Or she'd be like, look at this man. This is a gorgeous man. She'd put it up on the wall. So she gave me my taste in men. So she was really, really fun. So I thought, oh, that's what you do. So as a teenager, I started doing the exact same thing. And I remember this very vivid memory of a distant cousin coming to my house and saying, wow, what a cool wall. No one had ever said that, right? It was just something I did. And he's like, wow, you have everything there, but do you have the president? And I thought, oh, I do, by sheer coincidence. And it felt like, oh, this is like alive. Like it's a conversation starter. It inspires me. And it's just really fun, right? So I've never stopped doing it. And even when we travel, I do it in hotels because it reminds me of who I am in the liminal spaces, right? In spaces where I might be passing through. I live in this apartment in the studio, but I'm just passing through. But for now, this makes it mine. So let me show you what I have. Here's my beautiful turntable, which I got on Amazon. By the way, you can get your own. So where do you even start? So why is this so important to me? Because it all means something. Like these are all of my people in my community, right? This was actually a gift from my friend Christine, and she made this. Isn't that beautiful? This, of course, is by my friend Wendy in Australia. She sent this to me. It's a Lord Howe Island. No, it's a Kingfisher. I always get it messed up, but look how angry he is. He's taking care of me. I love him. This is by one of our members' sons. This is a postcard from Jasmine Celaya, a artist in Texas who sent me that. And then I had painted a portrait of Elvis at some point, put that there. And then I have things that I may not want to collage, but just give me so much life. Like this is baby Krishna Bala. Like I don't know enough to collage it, but it's calling my name. It makes me feel great, right? I have a collage by Veronica, one of our members, who does amazing collages. She just started a few years ago. Veronica Henderson. I have a picture of a Mexican Hollywood actress who was huge in the 40s. We have Terry Garrett here looking over us as an angel. He's still with us, but he's an angel. I have this, which is a collage that I made that I framed from Febrilage. It was one of my favorites. And it just makes me so happy, right? It's kind of just, it was just one of those collages that I felt really excited by. And I think it was tear. And I'm like, no, I don't want to cry. So he's not, the eye isn't crying. The eye has something to say and it's about to come out, right? So that's really fun. I also have this. This is really exciting. This was the first design of the collage kit, of the reiteration, the first reiteration of the collage kit. So I kept this to remind me of how far we've come, right? And the collage kit doesn't even look like this anymore. Now it says something slightly different, but it's a good reminder of how we evolve, right? So this is my wonder wall. Now you can start your own wonder wall by one thing, right? Just put a postcard, put another one. Big things start small. And it feeds me, it feeds my soul. But what do you do afterwards? Well, I think it's time for me to start taking some things down and making room for new things. But I don't want to throw it away. And I really don't want to collage with them because they have a life of their own. So I have two things. I have a huge red book. And this, you can come on over. This is a huge book that I keep where I retire some of my images. So I might want to take something from the wall and find a place for it. Like right here. You hear that? It's my little wonky table. So I might find another piece and give it a home here. And over the years, this just becomes something really special that I've created with all of these layers, where I've created from letters, notes to myself, just really exciting stuff. This is from, I don't know, something we ordered when we ordered oatmeal with apple cinnamon pecan that Elvis bought. So this is just a really beautiful thing that I keep. Another thing is I do have my sketchbooks that I keep, my journals, and I use this as well, right? So this can be home to, I think I'll leave that there, but come on, James Dean. you need to come to me. And then it kind of becomes like a garden, so I feel like I'm picking fruit, right? Let me see if I can do this without destroying anything. There we go. So did you hear that? It was like I picked an apple, right? So I can go ahead and not be precious, right? You hear me knocking things over. And I can just find somewhere for him to go. And I just like being random about it, because then this becomes an opportunity for me to journal around his face. Face, face, face. So start thinking, look around. Is there a wall around your room, around your house, or maybe just a corner where you can start your own wonder wall that talks to you, right? It kind of becomes this live garden for you to create your own collages, your own enchanted, activated spaces. So this is a practice that has always kept me going, right? Whenever I'm questioning if I'm doing the right thing, or whenever I'm uninspired, which doesn't happen all that often, because I open the door and there are my reminders, there are my keys, right? Right. I'm as cool as Johnny Depp, or not Johnny Depp, James Dean, or I'm as ferocious as the little monsters, right? Where I don't even remember the name, but these little monsters by Maurice Sendak. Like, yeah, that's the world I'm a part of. So create the world you want to be a part of, and remember, big things start small. When I was a kid, I lived in a single studio apartment with my aunt and my grandma. My studio was a cupboard. Now it's a little bit bigger. All right, this is Luis Martin, the art engineer, reminding you that what you do matters, and create your world. Thank you, Elvis.
Thank you.
Cheers.